I have soaked 1/4 cup of each of these peas in an easy sprout sprouter. And we soaked them for 8 to 12 hours. In this case it was 8, because that's what I had to give. They've grown substantially. Now we'll rinse them. This water, good for plants. My plants are full up. I've been giving them a lot. They all... Oregon giant peas. These are speckled peas, our classic pea shoot pea. Now we will drain them adequately. Put the domed lid in. When a crop is low like this, we put the domed lid in and it helps it be holdable. With big seeds, there is so much space around them that we don't have to drain hard at all, because water cannot cover the seeds as it can with other crops, with small seed crops. The Easy Sprout has raised portions and lowered portions, and the growing vessel, this we call the solid base, this we refer to as the growing vessel. In the sprouting, when it's sprouting, it sits up in this elevated position. Air flows down through the sides and up through the top. The vented domed lid is used in either way. It rests on top, but when the crop is low, there is no reason not to do it this way.
Emergency.
So now they're all in a safe spot on the counter, and we'll check back on them in 8 to 12 hours and rinse them again. The goal is to have a tiny sprout or having the germ bulge before we put them on their medium. So the peas have been sprouting now. They're 24 hours post-soak. What we're always looking for when planting is just the slightest hint of a tail. Just a little germination. This one is more visible. And so we're going to plant these. And we're going to do that using this solid tray so I can put it on my counter, and these 4 5x5 trays. So we'll fill these with coconut coir, which I have previously. Now I'm just gonna give a nice, I like to fill things quite full, like the roots. Have a lot of space to expand. So there we go. Now I'm going to wet these. Warm water is good for this. The coir takes it up very readily. we will put the peas on. The green peas. Spread them out. Quarter cup for a 5x5 tray is ample. The speckled peas. This is the classic shoot and a lovely pea. Yellow peas, which we offer as well. They grow more tenderly a crop. A more tenderly crop. Tenderly. All right. And our fourth, just for the heck of it, which actually is not germinating as much, is our Oregon giant. But they'll be along soon, and we're just testing them anyway. So now you can, if you like, push these down ever so slightly. They do not need to be covered. We're not gardening. We're indoor farming here. So this just helps seat them. So the lower ones are actually in the coir, which makes it easier for them to stay moist at the beginning. Once they have roots, it doesn't matter, because they take up their moisture from below. And then I will water them again with cool water. Watering them again also helps seat them in the medium that they're growing in. We're growing on straight coconut coir here, though we recommend earthworm castings as an addition at a 25% ratio to 75% coconut coir. It's really not necessary with pea shoots. Like grasses, these things grow so fast that you really can get by without anything. So that's what we're doing, straight coir. So now, just a matter of placing them on our counter. We will transfer them into our 10x10 tray. And since we have one crop, one very similar crop, instead of covering them individually, I will cover them with one 10x10 tray. We use a vented tray for added air circulation. Okay. I just rinsed these. I sprayed them lightly, but I think I wasn't recording it. So all I did was run water over them. I'll show you one. Do the high contrast one for you so you can see it. I just did this, but since I didn't record it, I'll show you exactly what I did. I did that to all of them. I have to take them out or the water will collect underneath in the solid tray. Got some runoff from my morning rinse. So also, besides rinsing with the hose, using a sprayer would be fine. This particular sprayer has kelp-enriched water in it, which is fine. Doesn't hurt anything. I just have it around. So you could just mix the seeds like this, too. You just want to get them all some water. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do it the fast way because it's late. The green one's fine. So once again, we're just keeping the seeds moist. Some other crops, so I have more room now. And we will continue to cover, and we shall return 12 hours later. I used the sprayer because I didn't feel like moving the trays into the sink. There was really nothing to it. And the fact that there's kelp in it really doesn't matter to me. I don't think it's necessary for you to use kelp. It never hurts, but there you go. I just chose to do that so I didn't have to take the trays out. Just keeping the seeds moist while the roots are burying themselves in the medium. Growing away. See all sorts of plants starting to come up. They'll change dramatically between now and tomorrow. Just a light spray. They really don't even need this because now their roots are down. But I'm going to do it one more time. Hours later. Now we really have nothing to do here. Everybody's growing plants up and roots down, except for the Oregon Giants, which are lagging behind. So we will water those. Miss them. But that's it. Nothing else requires anything. They're all in moist coir. They've all got their roots down. May not check in for 24 hours because really there's just no need. They're not tall enough to uncover, and they'll all have their roots down. So we'll see you soon. You're right. I think we have to accept that the speckled are the fastest growing, but the yellows and the greens are very similar, and we'll just see how things progress. There is nothing to do. They are just dandy for tonight, but it looks like we'll be uncovering them tomorrow, because I think Isn't quite yet, but I bet in the morning the speckled will be pushing the lid up. I've relocated our 10 by 10 to a different spot in the kitchen, and now it's time to uncover. See, they're coming through, and they have pushed it up. So there are basically two considerations here. We want to keep the coir moist so that the plants can have water to draw upon. You also want the plants to be strong, and they will build bigger roots if you don't give them water all the time. Sometimes I baby crops completely. I try not to always, so I'm not going to with the peas. They have plenty of moisture for the next day. The growth is rapid at this point, but still there's plenty of moisture until the next day, and so tomorrow we'll give them water. There's the sheep. Did you find stuff? Did you find stuff? You were hunting. You were hunting. That's good. You're a good hunter. Yes, you are. I moved the tray to our dining room table, which has more sun than our kitchen does. I just want to share with you what the plants do when looking for light. The sun is straight out that window. Well, it's actually higher. These guys all look for it like that. Look at the bend on those things. Amazing, isn't it? They seek light. Move towards it. And there's Gus. I don't think you've ever seen him before. Gus, say hi to everybody. So, we're adding water. I'm using tepid water because the coir takes up warmer water more readily. So I am putting in water into the bottom. That's about a cup of water. And then I just let the trays, let the coir soak it up from below. Oh, look, it came right out. Look at that root structure. Nice, huh? We've made them work. And, well, I might as well show you that since I have it like this. So water is accessible down here. Not much. Actually, I think it might be taking that up so fast that I need to add more. Let's see. And I have manhandled these shoots, which I do, but oh yeah, it's taken up an incredible amount of that water right off the bat. There's hardly anything left in there. Okay, so let's add more. They have room for more, so we'll go with the full 2 cups. The plants will absorb. They'll take a lot up. Really did manhandle you. They'll get better, don't worry. And if I want to straighten them out, I can turn them around so they'll seek the light the other way. I don't want to leave a lot of water in there, so I will check back in about 8 hours and see. If there's just a tiny bit of water left, I'll leave it, but if there's a quarter of an inch or something, I'll drain it out because the coir will be wet and it doesn't really need to sit in water. This is kind of a fine point because they will absorb it. So, but as a rule, I add water with the idea that it will take it up within a day, and then I can add more water or let it be. As I said before, we kind of made the plants grow bigger roots by not just giving them all the water that they wanted all along. There's enough moisture in the coir for them to continue growing, as you can see, and that's really it. You just don't want to drown them, and that would be hard to do, but the water will get funky, kind of, if we leave it too long. I'm just babbling now. I do that a lot when I do videos. Every time I edit them, I say, you've got to stop talking. But then I'm doing it, and I just think, gosh, I can share this thing. So, anyway. It's 24 hours. I did pour off about half a cup of water last night, and we're dry in the bottom. I could put more in, just leave you guys covered. I might just ditch you completely. But everybody's growing well. These are completely harvestable at this point. They're more tender now, so you would just cut them right as close to the peas as you can. But you can keep growing. We'll keep growing, but you should know this is a totally edible crop. And we are currently at 5.5 inches. Here we're only at 3 inches. But these are the yellows, is that right? These are the greens. Well, one or the other. They kind of very similar. Yeah, no, those are the yellows. And so that's really it. I'm not going to add water because there is heft to the containers, and I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. But in about 24 hours, we will add a cup or so of water. Maybe a cup and a half, since that's about what it drank yesterday. And that should be dandy. So, there you go. One of the easiest crops in the sprout universe, pea shoots. All right, here's our crops. Speckled, yellow, green, very similar. So today we will add some water to the bottom. Still a good heft, so they're not dry, but we'll add about a cup. Is that they drank that up in no time a couple days ago. We're growing towards the light on this side, and come around. You can see that the greens are doing the same thing, but the yellows back here are kind of hidden from it, so they're growing relatively straight. Oh goodness, now I just go where the average is now 9 inches. Very, very harvestable. In fact, the little ones are harvestable now, if not sooner. The more tender you are, the more tender, the better, right? So here we're just below 6 inches. Yes, the highest ones are 6 inches on the yellows. Greens are actually a little shorter, and the speckled, once again, 9 inches. Let's see if we want any water. Dry but hefty. We'll give them a little water. About half a cup this time, because they are nice and heavy. The coir, the trays are heavy. And look at our roots. And incredible. All right, it is in fact 36 hours because I forgot. We're putting a greenhouse up in the garden today. So we are now at 11 inches for the vast majority and 12 for some. Those are definitely time to go. These, I would say, are just perfect at this point. So 6 inches. No, more like 7, actually. Just tender. I personally, my preference isn't for them to split and start another set. I like them to stay tight. But it's a personal thing. Like I say with almost everything, you taste it every time you deal with it and see what you like. That's the perfect stage, right? We do want to give them some water, however. So we got about a cup this time. They'll be very happy with that. Still a good heft, but they can use it. They are growing so fast. We're definitely ready to harvest the big ones. And honestly, I think the little ones are just perfect now. They're just starting to run. They've got a lot of tendrils, which is what we want. The greens, maybe even more tendrily than the yellows. So there you go, you have options. They vary lot to lot. Not every yellow pea will do exactly the same as every other yellow pea. As I like to say, seeds are not widgets. They vary year to year, crop to crop, field to field. With climate chaos the way it is now, it's amazing that we get seeds that actually behave over and over in a very similar way. What we planted was 56 grams. We are actually exceeding our ruler, so we're over a foot tall on our speckled peas, and our yellow peas are 7 inches tall. The greens are slightly less. Well, a fraction of an inch less. All right. So harvesting, you can keep them in the tray. Still, it is nice to look at this root mass. I mean, my goodness. I don't know how you feel about these things, but I'm very impressed by root mass. These are very easy to cut because you can grab the whole crop at once in a 5x5 tray, and then you're just coming down to where the peas are and cutting away. We've got a couple peas hanging on there. I'll just take those off. And there we have our crop. And that crop weighs 144 grams, so close to 3 times the original weight of the peas. And I'm going to harvest the yellows because I think they're just ideal. I guess we can see if they'll come out too. Can. Oh my God, they're even more impressive. Okay, they're equally impressive, but this side here, very nice. Let's just see what we get weight-wise on these shorter ones. Just a few. Sorry. Really quite lovely. And these weigh in at 117, so pretty much 2 to 1. 56, that's 112, so 2 to 1, twice the original weight. But that crop is really pretty. We've always just replanted, started over again. When we were professional growers, we had no choice because we grew the crops and sold them. So whoever bought them could cut them and try to regrow them if they wanted to. But for us, it was always a matter of a new crop every week. And I don't think that you're going to get much with pea shoots coming back. But like I say, it's up to you if you want to try. You cannot reuse the coconut coir. If you grew on something else, you just can't reuse a growing medium. It's full of stuff. Compost it and make your own medium that way. Sorry, that's kind of a whole nother thing, isn't it? Sorry, didn't mean to just drop that on you. Just start over. But that's a beautiful crop, an easy crop to do. That's it. Enjoy your pea shoots. Grow them all. They all grow into something delicious. And I wish you all the happiest growing possible. Happy growing.